everybody. Before I get into today's food topic, I wanted to share with you my recent experience to go buy some shoes. I went to the Bell's Factory Outlet Mall, which is at the south part of town at Warm Springs and Las Vegas Boulevard. Usually they have cheaper shoes at the Nike outlet store there. When I went there, the selection was pretty bad and I couldn't find anything, so I went to the mall. I went to a few malls. I found the shoe that I wanted to buy, but nobody had my size. I think the largest size they had was a size 8 or a size 10. I needed some 12s. After going to about 10 stores, I gave up and I went online. I went to Nike.com and I found them there. And then they had an option for pickup at the store. It appeared that there was one store in town that had the size I needed, and that was at Caesar's Palace at the Forum Shops. So instead of wasting my gas and wasting my time and walking a mile or two, I could have just went online and found the shoe I wanted. But sometimes you just want to go to the store and see what they got. So that's what I did, but I learned my lesson. Next time I'm gonna shop on the internet, because I spent so much time looking for what I needed and I can't ever find the color or the size, whereas on the internet I can find exactly what I want with the click of a mouse. And you don't have to wait days for the delivery, because a lot of stores will have pickup options in your city, even curbside pickup. You don't even have to get out of your car. On to the food. So last summer, I discovered a Japanese ramen place here in Las Vegas by accident. The place was called Ramen Shibire. It's no longer called that. Somebody else bought it, or they had a change of ownership or management, but now it's known as Shoku Ramen or Shoku Ramen. I don't really know how to say it. We were actually looking to dine in at a Korean fried chicken place, but it was so busy we couldn't get in anywhere. So we decided to go anywhere that had seating available. And that's when we came across this place. Ramen Shibire was the name at the time. And I was so amazed at this ramen. The broth was incredible. And I started to tell my friends, I think I had the best ramen in Las Vegas. But the truth is, this place was very unknown. A lot of people didn't know. I've never even heard of this place. So with all the ramen in Las Vegas, the competition is pretty fierce. There are some good ramen places. And there are a lot of ramen places in Vegas. And some very reputable ones. I remember Monta Ramen was one of the ones that started it all. And then now there are so many. Recently, a very famous YouTuber named Mike Chen of Strictly Dumpling stopped by this place and confirmed what I felt from the beginning, that this was one of the best ramen that I've ever had. Really, it was so good that I gobbled it up and then I forgot about it. Until I saw Strictly Dumpling and Mike Chen came here, because this place now is known for being open 24 hours. 24 hours. It's located on Spring Mountain and Valley Views. It's just about 2 to 5 minutes west of the Strip. Under new management / ownership, I wanted to see if it was still good. They had these funky little sake in a juice box. And I got their fried rice, their chashu fried rice, which is a fatty pork or pork belly. My fried rice was really good. It was full of flavor. It delivered. Mine was a little bit salty today, but you might like it. I still liked it because I like salty fried rice. I got their tonkatsu broth, which is a rich and creamy pork garlic broth. And I got the yellow noodles, which is kind of more what I was used to. They do have some other stuff like spinach noodles, and they have some creative bowls of ramen like shredded oxtail. And they have this spicy challenge where if you eat it all, you get your picture on the wall and it's free. But if you don't, you pay like $50. But it's 3 pounds of ramen that you have to finish in 8 minutes. Plus, it's a spicy challenge that measures 4 million on the Scoville scale. No thanks. And if you don't finish it, it's $50 on top of all that pain you'll be going through. Now, how was the ramen itself? It was slightly not as good as when I remember it. The broth was excellent. The broth was still like 10 out of 10. The noodles were like a 7 out of 10, meaning it was still good, had good texture. It was still bouncy, but not as incredible as I remember last summer. The chashu was a little bit tough. Everything else was perfect. The second place I wanted to show you is a place in Henderson on Stephanie near the 215. It's called Enza Ramen. Now this place, I'm gonna show you for the appetizers. Every ramen place usually has appetizers. Even Shoku Ramen has some very interesting appetizers. But this place has a couple of appetizers that I think are the best in Las Vegas. This is the crispy fried gyoza, and it was good like your standard gyoza anywhere else. This one here, the steamed version, this is one of the best I found in Las Vegas. They steam it in this container made of wood or bamboo, but when it comes out the wrappers, you can see how it's almost translucent. It has the perfect chewy texture, and it's not rubbery, it's not soggy, it's the perfect texture with the really good fillings. So this steamed gyoza to me is one of the best in Vegas, and I was so amazed when I had it. And this is the wasabi cream shrimp. This is really good also. It's very crispy. The wasabi cream sauce was really good, and it's only $4.99. On top of that, they have tons of rolls. The rolls range in price from like $3.99 to $10.99. The rolls are a really good quality. I was impressed. They're very tasty. They come out pretty fast, and I think for the price, this is one of the best bargains in Vegas. And now it's time to introduce you to the dish that started this whole thing for me. This is the chicken karaage. It doesn't look like much, but let me tell you something. This chicken karaage is one of the most addicting things I've had this whole year, and including last year. This thing is incredible. I don't normally like chicken karaage. It's just basically a tasteless crispy fried pieces of chicken, but this one, the batter is really good, and it's not super crispy, but it's kind of like a rub, and then the chewiness of the chicken, and with this sauce, the sauce is really good too. It's like a tangy, slightly mayo, slightly wasabi, served on a bed of spinach. But when I had this, I'm telling you, I went to a bunch of my friends, said I think I had the best chicken in my life. This is jjajangmyeon. This is a twist on a Korean traditional black noodle. It's served entirely different in an innovative way with ramen noodles and pork chashu. If you're used to the traditional style black bean noodles, this is gonna surprise you because it's very different, creative, and pretty good. Another surprising dish here is the bulgogi donburi. Donburi means some kind of a rice bowl. This is kind of like your teriyaki bowl, but bulgogi is a little bit lighter in the sweetness. This is Korean marinated beef with grilled onions, sauteed onions, which is actually worked into the marinade, topped with some scallions, served over rice. The sweet garlicky marinade is really delightful, and the fatty juices from the marinade soaks into the rice. And this place did a great job of presenting this. Another addicting dish here. This is the signature Enza Ramen. What stands out about this dish is the pork ribs. These are deeply boiled pork ribs, and I was surprised that they added a little torch to it. They charred it a little bit. But these are really tender, fall off the bone pork ribs that are really good with the ramen. So this is the interesting twist on this dish. The noodles are pretty good, and the broth is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's the top 2 or 3 in Vegas as far as the broth or the noodles go, but it really delivers. It's a large, huge bowl for about $13.99. The egg was done perfectly, and they do have extra toppings for extra. But I do find that overall this place is a lot cheaper than Shoku Ramen. And if the ribs are not enough for you, they have a side order. This is called the back ribs or spicy back ribs. This is the delightful pork ribs that are fall off the bone with the slightly spicy and tangy sauce. This was a complimentary gift from the chef. This is an amazing avocado tempura battered creation that was just gorgeous. The creamy avocado with the lightly crisp tempura outside batter was incredible. They also have spicy tuna rolls and a number of other rolls for a really good price. Sometimes it's just the basics like this avocado roll that is so good. This is another Enza Ramen creative twist on a traditional Japanese dish. I've never seen a cold soba noodle served in a broth before. Normally this type of cold soba noodle is served without broth and the dipping sauce on the side. The dipping sauce is a light, sweet soy sauce with a little bit of wasabi, and you're supposed to dip the noodles as you eat it. But here at Enza Ramen, once again, they did another creative twist to this thing, and they served the whole thing in a big bowl with broth and tons of vegetables. For me, this one was just okay. At the end of the meal, they give you a complimentary ice cream, vanilla or strawberry, and it's on the house. So those are two of my favorite ramen places here in Vegas, and I know there's tons of them. So that's it for this one. See y'all again next time.